喂，行了行了，跟你说过了，就这样吧啊。好了好了好了啊。
Hey guys, it's Will, it's Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome and thank you for finding us. I hope this video finds you well. I hope you like my very fluffy hair. I got my donut mug. Fuck yeah. I took today off work, so I'm just chilling at the house, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite things to talk about. Let me have a sip of my coffee and my donut mug here. My family makes fun of me because I'm like obsessed with this mug. I got it on clearance at Target for like $2. I'm just I'll like wash it so that I don't have to use a different like we have like 1,000 mugs, but I'll wash the donut mug just so I can use it again. We're talking about Johnny Tone. We're talking about Sparrow. This is the Chameleon Films release. This is an Australian Blu-ray. It's listed as region B. So my wife got me a 4K Blu-ray player. I have finally joined the 4K club. Fuck yeah, I'm really excited about it. I haven't watched too many 4K. Actually, I think I've only watched one 4K release on it so far. It's only been about a week, but I watched Sleepy Hollow. The reason I'm a big Tim Burton fan, which you may or may not know. I don't really talk about him a lot on this channel because it's a Hong Kong cinema channel, but like Batman was hugely influential on me as a kid, and I love like Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice. I love Sleepy Hollow. I just rewatched Mars Attacks. That movie is freaking insane, and I loved it. So I'm a big Tim Burton fan. It was my birthday, and I had just got my 4K player. And I have like the dual format release of Sleepy Hollow, the Blu-ray and the 4K, and I watched the Blu-ray about a year ago, and it was like it looks like atrocious. Like it's one of the worst looking Blu-rays I think I own. And so I was like, let me watch the 4K because I remember this movie looking like really good when I saw it in theaters. And I mean, it was like stunning and amazing. I was so happy with it. So anyway, the point being, this is listed as region B, but it played in my 4K player. I don't know the details of the player. I don't know if it's a region free player or if this release is a little bit elastic, but so I decided I want to do like a full blown 70s. Like I was listening to All Things Must Pass, the George Harrison album, the other night, and I was also listening to some Pink Floyd and looking at the pictures of like David Gilmour with the long hair and the beard. Like this was Animals. I was listening to Animals, which is my favorite Pink Floyd record. So let me know in the comments what your favorite Pink Floyd. We're getting way off topic here. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Pink Floyd album is. But I was looking at the cover of All Things Must Pass with George Harrison with the long hair and the beard and the picture of David Gilmour. And I'm like, maybe I should do like a full blown 1970s, just like let it really come down and then grow the big beard. And I don't know, what do we like more? Do we like this or do we like the behind the ears? Let's just do this for now. I don't know. I'm like a middle school girl fretting about what to do with my hair. I had never seen Sparrow before, which is shocking to a lot of people because you know I'm a huge Johnny Toe fan, and I have been since before. This film came out in 2008, like I said. I started watching Johnny Toe movies like 2006, 2007. This is a phenomenal, phenomenal movie. I loved this movie so much. It is so good. So I'll get into my reasons for that, but let me give you like the basic info about the movie and about the release, and then we can get deeper into why I loved it so much. So it was released on June 19th of 2008 in Hong Kong. And it was directed and produced by Johnny To, and it was written by there's 3 writers credited. One is John Chan, one is Andrew Fung, and the other one is the Milky Way creative team. What's interesting about this to me is that as I read about in the essay there's so much bonus material on this release. This film was shot over a period of 3 years. And so probably they had a situation whereby, you know, like one person wrote a couple scenes and then like 6 months later they shot a little bit more and someone else wrote a couple scenes and like they would just kind of collaborate on where are these characters now, like what's happening, like what is the trajectory of the story. It's really interesting. He did that with PTU as well. It was like a smaller budget film that was shot over a period of years between other projects. So there's a butt ton of bonus material on here. Let me tell you what the movie's about real quick in case you don't know. So Simon Yam is in this movie. Let me tell you the cast too, because I have it pulled up here on my computer. Simon Yam, Kelly Lin, Gordon Lam, Lo Hoi Pong, excuse me, Law Wing Chong, Kenneth Chung, Lam Suet is in this movie, and a ton of other people you recognize as Johnny To regulars. I also just want to give a quick shout out to the cinematographer here, who is Chung Sui Kung. Let me give you a quick list of credits for this guy. Fight Back to School 2, Black Cat 2, and then let's skip ahead to later in the 90s. We have A Hero Never Dies, Running Out of Time, The Mission, Okinawa Rendezvous, which I literally just watched and really liked. And there's a review of that in Patreon. Oh, and I want to give a shout out to our patrons. Let me do that in a second. Um, running out of time too. PTU, Running on Karma, Breaking News, Throwdown, Election 2, Exiled, Triangle, Mad Detective, this film, obviously, Vengeance, Life Without Principle, Drug War. I mean, oh, and I think Ip Man 4 is on there too. Like some of the best looking films of that entire era, of that decade of like the aughts, whatever you want to call it. Like just incredible. I mean, Johnny Till with the cinematography, once he like achieved his kind of what you if you want to call it his mature style, which I think you really start seeing. I mean, I'm not an expert on Johnny Till. I've seen a lot of his movies, but I don't claim to be an expert, and I never would. But I watched a couple of his movies from like the mid to late 90s, like being you. What's that movie called? With the about the it's like I think it was like a TV movie. And then there's the movie about the firefighters. And in those two movies, you can really start to see his like kind of long take zooms, moving camera, like that visual style that I always really associate with Johnny Doe emerging there. Cinematography in this movie is freaking incredible. So Simon Yam plays the leader of a group of four people who are pickpockets in Hong Kong. And there's very much this like Luc Besson pickpocket, honorable thief, like good bad guy anti-hero kind of type of thing going on in this film. And then this woman shows up in all of their lives independently of one another, and you know that something is going on, but you don't quite know what it is. And so the fun of the movie is watching their relationships develop and kind of trying to piece together what it is that's happening and why this woman has showed up in their lives. And what was I gonna say? Like I said, I wanted to give a shout out to our patrons, which I was like for like 6 minutes into the video. But I bought this bought this release, excuse me, with Patreon money, and our patrons are amazing. We have a Discord. I really, really like our Patreon Discord. People post pictures of all the Blu-rays that they're getting. We just talk about movies. We do a little bit of insider baseball on like things we've heard, rumors we've heard about what labels are releasing what and stuff like that. The Discord, I think, has like maybe 5 or 6 people who are active in it. We have more patrons. I think we have around 20 patrons. But all the money from Patreon goes towards buying releases for the channel. So it's $2 a month or $5 a month that you can sign up for. And there's currently a ton of stuff in there that is not on YouTube. So there's reviews of like Okinawa Rendezvous, which I just talked about. There's a review of The Adventurers, the Ringo Lam film, which will be different from the one that's going up on YouTube when I get the Eureka release, which I'm really excited about because I love that movie. Bullets Over Summer, I reviewed the Connie Vinegar Syndrome partner label release of that film. That will never be on YouTube because it was blocked worldwide by the rights holder so that it lives exclusively in Patreon because it's got clips in it, so they blocked it. I mean, there's like 20 something 20 plus like Patreon exclusive and early release videos. Oh, Love on Delivery, the Stephen Chow movie is up in there. Comrades Almost a Love Story is up in there. I reviewed the very controversial Sammo Hung film, What Hamburger Cup? What is that? What's the actual title of that movie? I can't believe I can't remember it off the top of my head. I mean, it's very notorious for having like a very blatantly racist scene in it. But that's a very brief moment in the film. And I thought it would be interesting to look at that film and talk about it a little bit. So anyway, Patreon is awesome. Let me give you my thoughts on this film and why I loved it so much, and then I will tell you what the bonus material on this release is, which is extensive and phenomenal, and I highly recommend it. There are two versions of this release. One has the soundtrack, the score, I should say, excuse me, as a bonus CD, and then one is this kind of with the slipcase. I did not get the version with the CD, which I mostly just did for financial reasons because I was trying to buy a bunch of releases at once. And I do quite frankly regret it because the score for this movie is absolutely phenomenal and I totally loved it. So and there's I think there's an interview with the composers on here if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, in 2011 interview with co-composer Javier Jamu, I think. Um so this movie it's just really beautiful. That's the best way to describe it, and it's pure cinema in a really deeply meaningful way. There's no excessive dialogue in this film, there's no excessive explaining. This is a film that is about cinema and visual language and the city of Hong Kong, the people of Hong Kong, and preserving a time and a place, and, like, capturing the texture and the beauty and this feeling of, like, whimsy, romance, local people, relationships, friendships, but also like kind of danger, crime, like these types of things, right? It has almost like it has this kind of French sense of like whimsy and romance to it. Like Truffaut or um it almost in a way reminded me of like films from the 30s, like the Pagnol movies, like The Baker's Wife and the Marseille trilogy, and like Marcel Carné, like Hotel du Nord, which is like a film that's very much about people in a place, and it's a very romantic, like human, funny film, but it also has like kind of a darker crime element to it. Like it has that kind of feeling to it. But there's also like a very old Hollywood sense of just like the joy of cinema. And the Simon Yam character is a photographer, and he takes black and white photos on like celluloid film with these nice old cameras. And you can see that this is very much a movie that's like invested in the notion that it is part of this really long tradition of like recording and documenting people and places. And yet it's also like this very beautiful, romantic, whimsical film. And it's told in a purely visual language. There are scenes in this movie where people barely talk or don't talk at all. And you can almost see like homages to silent film and silent comedies. And it's a film that's really deeply steeped in the history of cinema. And the cinematography, like I said, is really, really phenomenal. Because this movie was filmed over a period of like I said, 3 years, I think, the structure is really interesting because once you know that, you can start to see that because it'll be like, so for instance, there's a scene very early in the film where you see the guys out like on the streets of Hong Kong being pickpockets, right? And the cinematography, the visual design of that scene is phenomenal. Like the way that the shots, it's almost like this Hitchcockian thing. There's like these zooms and pans and these very complicated camera moves where like multiple types of camera movement are happening simultaneously, orchestrated with the movement of the characters in space and stuff like that. But it's just one scene. We see them doing their thing, right? Then afterwards, they're sitting in a taxi, counting the money, exchanging the money, and stuff like that. And so it's a movie that moves in these kind of very simple sections, and you can see how like you would shoot the opening scene, and then you would shoot. I think the second scene is like all four guys in a restaurant together eating breakfast. Like you could shoot that in a day, and then be like, okay, I got to go make this other movie now, and Simon Yam's got 10,000 things to do, and like we're all really busy. Let's come back in like 6 months, and we'll shoot the next scene, and we'll, you know what I mean? Like you can tell that it's segmented. One of the other things I really loved about this movie, and I cannot overemphasize this, the locations in this movie are incredible. I love the way that Johnny To shoots Hong Kong. I've talked about this a lot in other videos. He's very much like it has this very much like on the street local perspective, right? Like if you look at someone like John Woo, he makes like movies, like big epic movies where Hong Kong like looks like New York in a way, like this huge, like monolithic, like and this is just obviously my personal relationship with the film. But when I watch a John Woo movie, I feel like I'm watching like a movie world movie. When I watch a Johnny To movie, I very much feel like I'm on the street in Hong Kong. And there's so many amazing, amazing locations in this movie that I was thinking when I was watching it last night that like I've never been to Hong Kong, right? I have fallen in love with this city, and I know like certain monuments and neighborhoods of this city because of cinema. I've fallen in love with it through Wong Kar-wai, through Jackie Chan, through Johnny To, Ja Woo, Ringo Lam, all these incredible filmmakers and all these amazing films that I love. And I don't know if I'll ever go there. Who knows, right? It's really cost prohibitive right now to travel, and I've got kids, and like I'm very busy, and like I can watch a movie like this, and this is my like plane ticket, my hotel fare. Like I could be there. I can be on the ground. Like you can feel the textures of the city. There's one scene where like this guy's on a moped with the main character in the film, the woman who shows up in all of their lives and starts like, the femme fatale, if you will, right? She's an amazing character too, by the way, which does a lot to engage you in this film. Like you don't like she's in a very complicated and difficult situation. Basically, she's stuck between all these different things, and she has to make really difficult decisions, and there's a lot of emotional turmoil in her character, but she has to present a face of like charm and beauty and stuff like that, and the complexity of her emotions and her character is so well conveyed. It's really beautiful. But there's a scene where she's on a moped with this guy and they drive by the bay in Hong Kong and you can like smell the sea air. I know you can't really, right? It's not like a scratch and sniff Blu-ray, but like if you've ever been by, a massive body of salt water, or you've ever been in, like I live in LA, which is a city on the ocean, right? You know what that's like, that mixture of like city noise, car horns, diesel fume, like the smell of a city, but the smell of the sea, and the noise of the city, but the noise of the waves and the seagulls, and like it's like you're there all of a sudden. And that's such a beautiful quality to cinema that you can't get from, I believe you cannot get from any other medium, right? And it's something that really attracts me to cinema over and over again, and that's one of the reasons I think I love Hong Kong cinema so much, is that it's so invested in the city and what the city is, and the city as a character, and the way that the city plays on those characters and that are in the film, and the way that their lives are affected by and their perspectives are determined by this city and this place. And Ringo Lam, excuse me, what am I saying? Ringo Lam. Johnny To obviously is a Hong Konger, and if you've seen interviews with him and stuff like that, especially recently, he's a very proud Hong Konger, and he very much loves Hong Kong, and you can really see that here. And it even says on the back of the Blu-ray here, the most sheer delight you will ever experience from a Johnny To film, question mark. I would say, yeah, honestly. Like this is in my list of my top 10 Johnny To movies now. Maybe top 5. You know that my top 3 are Election to Exiled, because those are the first 3 I saw in there. Very special place in my heart. And then number 4 is Drug War, because that's just a fucking masterpiece and a phenomenal movie. I might put this at number 5. I don't know. It's so, I'm obviously recency bias and I'm being hyperbolic and like, but it's just such a phenomenal and beautiful film. I think that's enough, right? You get the impression, like you understand why I loved this movie so much. It's like a really magical, whimsical, romantic caper film that is also an homage to cinema and to Hong Kong. Also, I just want to mention I fucking love Simon Yam. Like I love Simon Yam. He's like probably, I'm counting in my head. Obviously, there's Jackie Chan, there's Chow Yun Fat, there's Andy Lau, there's Sammo Hung. Like he's definitely, Simon Yam is definitely top 10 for me, maybe top 5 for Hong Kong, like, leading men. I love his diversity. Like, think about the fact that this was shot probably concurrently with, like, PTU and Election. And think about the fact that in Election, he's this, like, really enigmatic, kind of internalized, but very dark and violent criminal. In PTU, he's this like really aggressive, almost like corrupt police officer. And then in this, he's this like happy-go-lucky photographer, like gentleman criminal who's like riding around on a bicycle. That's another thing about this movie. He rides his bike around Hong Kong, right? So it's just like very romantic and whimsical, but again, like homages to silent film and French cinema and old Hollywood and stuff like that, right? It's a beautiful movie. So there is a commentary track on here with the daddy, Frank Jang. So I highly recommend that. Check that out. It is a phenomenal commentary track. There's something called A Playful Departure, which is a new video essay on the film by filmmaker Zach Kloss. There are newly translated and approved English subtitles. This movie is in Cantonese and Mandarin. There's a couple of characters who speak Mandarin, and then obviously you have like the main kind of group of characters who speak Cantonese as Hong Kongers. There's a 2000, and there's a ton of archival stuff on here. So there's a 2011 interview with the co-composer Javier Jamu. Like I said, there's one with editor David Richardson, production supervisor Ding Yun Shan, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Archival interviews with director Johnny To, and performers Simon Yam, Kelly Lin, Gordon Lamb, and newly translated English, with all those with newly translated English subtitles. The gala premiere featurette, the press conference featurette, the making of Sparrow. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And Sean Gilman wrote a really great essay that is in the booklet here. This is what you see when you, this is reversible. So this is what you'll see when you open the case, but there is reversible cover art here. I actually really like the cover I like this cover quite a bit, but there's this reversible one too, if you prefer that. And then there is an essay in here, like I said, by Sean Gilman. And this is like a nice, it's like a kind of a weighty booklet. So there's like some credits. And so it's called Pickpocket Full of Miracles, an essay by Sean Gilman. And there's some really great visual metaphors in this film. This isn't spoiling anything because it's literally the first scene. This is a really fun scene. A red balloon, right? Homages to French cinema. But there's a, Simon Yam is in his apartment in the beginning of the movie, and a sparrow flies into his apartment, and he like grabs it and tries to let it go, and it flies back in, and like, and there's and I think that sparrow is also slang for a pickpocketer, like a thief in Cantonese. I kind of picked up on that a little bit from some of the dialogue in this film, but I love this movie, and it is a phenomenal release. You should go buy the release. You should support Chameleon. They did have to raise their prices recently, and they posted something on Twitter about that, which I shared. So if you follow me on Twitter, you may have seen that. Just because of everything that's going on in the world right now with the economy being, yeah, we're not going to get into that, but um, it's tough for everybody. And so for independent Blu-ray labels that are run by just a few people who probably don't have a lot of resources at their disposal, excuse me, who, I mean, like, I don't think that anyone else is putting out I should say in the English language, because I know that there's a lot of French releases of Milky Way films. I don't think anybody in the English speaking world is putting out high quality releases of Milky Way films the way that Chameleon is. They're like the heroin in my veins for my Johnny Toe fix. Like, they put out the Election 2 set, which was like, that's like a god tier holy grail set for me. The Breaking News release is phenomenal. Their release of Exiled is phenomenal. I love that movie. This release is phenomenal. I had never seen Motorway before. I really liked that movie, and that was a phenomenal release too. So support them, buy their releases. They did have to raise their prices. It's really tough for small businesses right now, especially ones like this that are perhaps trying to rely on international business because of the international success of Johnny Toe's film. So my name is Will. It's Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. I'm very happy to be back with you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.